So hang on, Bragg. I'm just gonna record this just for a recording test, okay? La 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 la, suck my dick, you motherfucker! Welcome down to the abyssal lair of the Radiophonic Sea Creatures. Again, embrace each other with the warm spirit of old friends because I, Tokyo Choo Choo, am going to be your host today. And with me, as always, especially today, are the two best internet buddies a bold twit like me could ask for. It's Human Metal and Brack. Now, I should say, straight off the bat, that we have all fucked up today because we did actually record a Shallows for this episode, but... technological demons being what they are, we fucking lost the recording and we're all quite a bit stressed and like off kilter right now. So we've actually recorded this intro about like 3 times now. So we're all tired of hearing this shit. So, oh my God, let's talk about VR. Let's get straight into the topic and avoid all the terrible jokes that we've been making about making the same jokes again and again and again. But briefly, before we start that, Human Metal, how are you? I know you're pissed off and suicidal, right?
Let's just get into VR, man.
That says it all. So yeah, we're gonna put the past aside, the recent tragedy of losing our very, very long Shallows, and we're gonna talk about VR. So, hey, guys, so are you interested in VR? Let's just talk about that first. And if you are interested in VR, what platform are you considering getting? Yeah. So how about let's give Metal a little time to recuperate, because I think Human Metal's feeling the burden of it, like full on. So how about you, Brad? How do you feel about VR, and what system would you get if you are interested in that type of thing?
Well, how I'm feeling about VR? Like the problem is not with how I'm feeling about VR. It's how my bank account is feeling about VR, because that's the reason that I'm like not getting a VR system.
You have a bank account?
Yes.
You just get change in your pockets. His bank is his pockets.
His Lint account.
Yeah, maybe I can fit like $400 in the old sofa, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
In a perfect world, Bragg, where you actually had money and wasn't a fucking completely useless stoner, like what system would you buy?
I think I want to have like the one on PC. So I
Which
think
one? There are 2 on PC.
I'm guessing Oculus Rift.
He likes his Rift, especially in a young boy's backside.
That went dark.
Yes,
this movie of the year was Spotlight. What can you say?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the opposite.
You were vote for the villains, Bragg.
Like if your movie of the year is The Revenant, doesn't mean you want to get like eaten alive by a bear, right? I mean, what are you trying to say here?
I mean, I wouldn't mind getting eaten alive by a bear. I mean, there are ways to go, and there are ways to go. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, you want to ask scrawny motherfuckers, so the bear wouldn't probably have much fun with it or live long enough of you.
Thank you. I've been on a diet, and I take that as a compliment. So, Brack, anyway, back to you.
It wasn't. That's all I'm saying.
Why the Oculus Rift, Brack?
Yeah, because that's the more. Like, I have no idea between Vive and Oculus Rift. I haven't thought about it too long. The only thing I've heard is that Oculus has like some exclusive games, or at least some games like, exclusive to their store or something. HTC Vive doesn't have exclusive games. That's as far as I know.
So what games, if you are looking for the Oculus Rift, Brack, what games are you actually specifically looking forward to, if any games?
I haven't thought about that much, but yeah, there's this one game from the guys from Insomniac, the guys who made like Ratchet & Clank, which is like a kind of an open world horror type game in like a snowy world, which seems very, very interesting to me.
But aren't they contracted by Sony? So wouldn't that be on the PlayStation VR?
No. It's something that is not from Sony.
Okay.
Like their last game was an Xbox One exclusive, so it's called Edge of Nowhere. That's the game I'm talking about.
That is a very bland title.
In general, I got to say that most VR games looks really bland. They look like like tech demos mostly.
I think in a way they are tech demos. I mean, VR is such a new platform, like really new. I mean, when consoles kind of iterate on the hardware, at least there's a baseline set there. With VR, this is something completely new that we're dealing with. So I think in some ways everything is kind of a tech demo to one level or another. I mean, it's not a proven system, is it? I mean, it's not. Yeah. It is a tech demo, Brack.
Yeah, but I also feel like, from what I've seen for most of these games for VR, they're all I've only seen of course the normal YouTube clips or something like that. I haven't actually played them in VR or anything or watched them in VR. So if I would compare those games with normal games I'm playing on my PS4 or PS3, the games I'm playing on my PS4, they look like better games. Like the VR games, they look like just. They don't have they're not as complete. They don't aren't as they're not as complete of a game compared to the games that are just on the normal system.
Yeah, I can agree with that in some ways.
People need to still figure it out. That's the big thing here. I think people, it's a new medium. It's a new way to experience games, and so a whole lot of other things. And if you consider looking at what console games are launch titles are, they often look especially compared to later titles, they not
look like
necessarily don't necessarily look like crap, but they look vastly inferior. I recently played the first Zone of the Enders game for the PS2, and that game looks like crap compared to its sequel. It's it's super short. It looks bare bones, and putting in Zoe 2 after that is just night and day difference. And I think it's going to be the same for VR.
I played NEC, and it looks like crap compared to crap. So,
but I think with the VR, it's also accentuated because, like I say, there's no baseline for VR. So they are inventing the baseline now. So I absolutely think that's true. So how about you, Human Metal? The same question to you. What platform would you get if you if you had the money to buy VR? What would you buy?
I think I'm going to get PS VR first, PlayStation VR, since it's the most affordable, and I can be sure that my system, as in the PS4, can run it, or at least I hope it can.
That would be a shock.
We'll see. Right now, my PC can't run the Oculus or the Vive, so I'd have to upgrade it. So that would cost me too. So yeah, both I don't think I can afford in any year. So, and I don't have enough room space to make use of the Vive. But I hope it will cause a revival of arcades in some kind. But we'll see about that. But I like that Sony is putting down their foot down and saying every game will run in 60 frames per second, or it will not be released for the PlayStation VR. They have to do it because otherwise people will get sick, because the constant frame rate is necessary for the head tracking and everything to work, and people not to get nausea and everything. But that also comes at a cost, that the games cannot be as elaborate and as detailed as they are for the normal console, like something like Bloodborne, which we talked about in the Shallows That Are Not Lost. That is a very detailed and luscious game in terms of graphic design. But it's sometimes running at less than 30 frames, and that is not possible on PlayStation VR. So something like that will not exist on PlayStation VR probably. At least not in the foreseeable future, unless the rumors about the PS 4.5 are true. And
I hope they're not.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah. So if they can actually enforce that mandate, and if we get some good-looking games like, let's say for example the PS4 port of Gravity Rush looks great. It's a bit, you can see that, hey, this was a Vita game and it's been upscaled and everything, but it's still a good-looking game. It's a great-looking game, actually, just in terms of style and everything. So if we get games in the graphical quality comparable to that, I'm fine. That's all right. It's not up to par maybe with some of the better-looking PS4 games. It's still very good-looking, and that game runs at a constant 60 frames per second. So there you go. Maybe we'll get that. So, yeah, PSVR with it for me. The only game I actually know something about and I know is exclusive to PSVR is the game that I wanted. It's Ace Combat 7. So, yeah, that's so. If I want to get any VR system, I should probably get the one that has at least a game that interests me. So that would be that. And if there are any space combat exploration games like like in the vein of Freelancer or something, I would like that, or something that is comparable to that, only underwater in the ocean or something. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. I would like to see something like that.
I would think more about getting the PlayStation headset if there was at least some possibility that I would also could connect it to my PC.
There might be third-party drivers that would be, like some freeware drivers developed by fans.
I think it's probably possible. Like I'm using right now, I'm using my old-ass PS2 iToy as for like to record videos and shit. So
yeah, we can see Brack pick his nose in high definition. Thanks for that, Brack. By the way, use a tissue, you fucker.
He needs to get used to being seen on screen while he's doing that.
Normally I'm like, oh, there's nobody watching me. I could just whip my dick out and just slap.
Yeah, exactly. That was a lesson I had to learn as well when I started turning on my camera and was like sitting here butt naked, and everyone was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, right."
You were trying to make a point about VR before I interrupted you.
Yeah, I was trying to say that like PlayStation VR is the cheapest so far, and I know I at least have a system that works, but there are like some options that PlayStation VR is not gonna, allow.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some R-rated material, maybe.
Just say it. Fucking say it.
VR porn.
Yes.
So for that, I could want to use it on my PC as well. So I hope that they have like drivers, or at least some people on the internet that have a lot of time. They make some drivers themselves. I have no idea how that works. I'm stupid. But like that would be nice if those people could do it, and I can enjoy my PlayStation VR on my PC to watch some porn. That's all I want.
Well, I for me personally, obviously, I'm going to go for PlayStation VR 2, simply because my PC is basically my laptop, and the most demanding PC game that I've run on my PC is Shovel Knight. So
and even there you went lag,
Yeah. Shovel Knight's amazing. But I have the platform, the PS4, and I think it's going to be a relatively no nonsense kind of, I won't have to spec up or organize like root files or do all that stuff that PC people do, because I don't know anything about that type of stuff. Like, and I'm not really interested in like putting myself through hell to actually do that. And I know like the PC version probably has better specs, it's going to have better graphics or whatever, but it's not that serious a thing for me, VR, really, truly. I mean, I think, as long as I can have some good experiences, like I don't really mind about like graphical fidelity or, this, that, the ins and outs of it. I just want a nice, kind of immersive experience, which I can enjoy. Of course, as I've mentioned before, I am very skeptical about VR also, because like when I imagine like VR, I imagine like sizzling bacon and sizzling like fried eggs, and those being your eyes, basically. I imagine actually like smoke coming out of the VR machine from your eye sockets. Like, when I imagine that, I expect like 50% of the world's populace to go blind after the release of VR.
It might have some adverse long-time effects, but probably not your eyes burning out of your sockets.
No,
it would probably.
It's not like Indiana Jones, like the first one where like you open like the box and like your face is melting off. That's not gonna happen.
That's exactly what I imagine. That's exactly what I imagine.
What might happen is that it might have, some effect on the movement of your eyes, or that you can't, prolonged exposure to VR might get you problems in terms of being able to focus on, objects in real life or something. I don't know, because it's such a new medium. You can't really say what happens if you use that shit, which you shouldn't do in general. Like 12 hours a day or even longer.
So that's why I'm gonna wait for like a year, because you say, you should do it for 12 hours a day or longer. But there's some person who's probably gonna do it for 12 hours a day for like 1 year straight. So I'm gonna wait for that news story to happen. to happen for like one person who done that. And like, okay, one person has done it for 12 hours a day for 1 year straight, and these are the effects that happened on him.
Some fucknut is gonna play WoW in first-person mode for some reason in his headset for 24 hours straight, multiple days a week, and yeah, we'll see what that does to his body. I'm interested in that.
Like the same person who like dies not eating while playing like an MMO, like one of those type of people will do it.
Exactly. You know, we've all seen the movie Lawnmower Man, and it was terrifying.
No,
because it was a terrible movie. But
I was about to say
it was awful.
It was funny.
But no, I don't think it was funny. I just think it was
the CG
terrible.
is funny now.
I don't know. I watched it once, and I promised myself on the life of my mother that I would never watch it again. But yeah, anyway, so but actually, despite my reservations with the health of my eyes, I will actually, I think, in the Christmas season, I will get the PlayStation VR because I do actually want to experience that, you know, like I don't want to play. I'm not going to be one of those idiots that plays it for 24 hours. Definitely not. Like I think definitely, especially with a type of technology that is so close to your eyes, I think moderation is going to be very important for your health. I mean, I think more than ever before, health is going to be important when it comes to VR. And I think that because it's not really a tested medium, I think people might be
overzealous.
Overzealous and undercautious about just how this might damage you. So, a quick.
I also think that like these companies, they probably have like at least done some basic tests, or like probably more than basic tests to what it does to your eyes, because they don't want to get sued.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I totally understand that, but let me tell you, let me relay a very brief story about the choo-choo. So I used to do everything in the dark, right? I used to watch movies like with the lights off and stuff on like the HD TV screens, and I used to use the PC with the lights off and stuff, and then my eyesight really, really seriously decreased. I mean, I had eyesight problems, like, my vision would blur and stuff, and I couldn't read like signs that were relatively distant from me. So I had problems.
Maybe it's the same reason why you're bald, like old age.
No, but Brack, this is the point. I decided that because my eyesight was getting bad, I decided to actually change my lifestyle. So I turned on the lights. Simply, I watch TV in a well-lit room, and I watch movies in a well-lit room, and I always use my PC with the brightness slightly down and in a well-lit room, and my eyesight actually improved. Like, seriously, it recovered. And that just goes to show you that, your eyes are delicate things, and what you do to them does actually put stress on them. Like, I felt that firsthand. My vision decreased when I was doing bad things to my eyes, and it increased again. It got better after I stopped doing that shit and started to take care of my eyes. So like, I'm really seriously worried about the long-term effects of VR, but we'll see how it pans out, jokes aside. As for games, personally, I don't have a specific game that I'm looking forward to, mostly because I'm lazy, just like Brack, and I haven't researched anything. But we'll get into our dream games a bit later. So let's move on to the next question. How do you guys think that VR will progress? How do you think it will go down? How do you think about its business prospects? Or what do you guys think is going to be successful long term? Do you think it's just going to be a fad that just disappears and goes away? What do you guys think about that?
No one can say it, right? I mean, Sony has the lead in
But
pricing.
you're not gonna say it.
Yeah, but okay, basic line. Sony has the lead in pricing and, established consumer base, as in their entire consumer base, already has the system necessary to run the PSVR. And, it's not like with the Oculus and Vive where people might have to be convinced to buy a new PC as well to probably run it. So
yeah,
if
but
enough
it's still $400.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's a new console. It's, an add-on console, a twin console to the PS4, so that you need to play specific content. So I guess that price is justified in a way. If enough people actually try it out and the tech works, which is very important, if it works well enough for most people to not get sick, to not be turned off by the experience itself, it could find its footing in the mainstream, I think, in a few years. Probably not with the current iteration, but yeah, I think it could, take hold. But everything basically needs to work well enough to convince people, and you can't do that with advertisement in TV and everything because VR is a hands-on experience. You cannot convey the feeling of VR through, 2D pictures. It just doesn't work. It looks stupid and silly if you show people in their like VR huts and reacting to things.
I've seen some trailers for like the PlayStation VR games. There's like one game from the creators of Killzone, or it's like this mech sports game, like where you shoot people and stuff. And it's like, they have like lots of footage of people having like the VR headset on in front of their face, and moving around and stuff. And it looks so silly. It looks stupid.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it doesn't work.
You gotta have a guy who is like standing there advertising that shit, annoying every fucker who comes his way and saying, "Here, put this shit on and try it out," and like forcing it on their head, and then like, "No, no, no, no," and then, oh, this is amazing. Okay, I'm gonna buy it. Oh. But otherwise, it's not gonna work, guys.
I will be the negative Nancy here when it comes to VR, and always when it comes to VR. Actually, I think I'm the spokesman for the anti-VR rally, although ironically I'm the one who probably between the three of us will have it first. But still,
just because you can afford it, you asshole.
Yeah, simply. But basically, I truly believe that if the history of video games have taught us anything, it's that people like simple video games. They like their couch, they like their controller, they like their TV. So, like,
that's kind of what this entire console generation so far has been about, right?
Exactly. But that's the thing. Sales are up higher than ever, right? And the industry is doing well. But simply, VR is something new. I mean, when you think about what you have to do with VR, you have to stick a headset on your head, and you have to wear that. You can interact with the outside world. You can eat snacks. I mean, well, maybe you can if you're fucking Daredevil. You can find the fucking potato chip bag or whatever. But fucking...
Yeah, but Daredevil can't really play VR. That's all I'm
saying. That's a true story, Bragg. See, Daredevil's not buying VR, so there's a sale lost. What I'm saying basically is that I'm sure VR is going to be a fairly incredible performance, and I think the novelty factor is going to get it large sales at first. But I also believe that in the long run, VR is going to be a fad, is going to be another footnote in the gaming of history. I think it will be an interesting one, but I think VR will eventually be like motion controls. I think will be something that's interesting and exciting, is going to get some traction, and it's going to get a lot of buzz. But hang on, Brack, let me finish. But I think ultimately it's going to fade out, and people are going to want to return to the simple fact of sitting down on their couch with a controller and their TV, because I think that is the most basic setup of gaming, and I think ultimately the most popular and most relaxing. I mean, sure, I think VR will always maintain a niche, definitely, but I don't think it will ever replace the main form of gaming that we have, which is just a TV and a controller. It's just too simple. You can't interact with the real world. You can't drink your coffee accurately, when you're dealing with VR. And I don't think in a fundamental way you can really relax while wearing the VR headset. Because you're too immersed in that world. It's too full on an experience. And so I think the mainstream, eventually, after the buzz has died down, I personally think will pass VR by, and it will be like a niche thing for certain games. But
which means Sony will get out of it at that point, because as we've seen with the Wii knockoffs, they are not only committed to something for quite well unless it works. So if this doesn't work, if VR doesn't take a foothold into mainstream, this iteration of PlayStation VR is going to be the only one. They're not going to do more of that because they don't give a shit. They haven't done for the Move, and they won't for this one. So
well, that's the thing.
My only fear.
That's the thing with the platforms. I think there's a huge difference between the PC versions and the PlayStation version. Exactly like you say, I think if it doesn't take hold, and I think ultimately it will be a niche item, personally speaking. Of course, I'm not a prophet, so I don't know. But like, but I think it will be ultimately a niche item. So I think PlayStation, I think Sony will sort of. I think it'll be another move. I think it will gain traction at first, but it will fade off. But I think the PC versions of the VR will always have a place because it always have modders and community supporting it. I mean, basically the hardcore VR people like who on the PC can support the unit themselves. You know how resourceful like PC people are. So I think there will always be a market on PC for
especially
VR,
like with indie games that are going to be supported by it. Like all those are going to be like say walking simulators, which is kind of like a derogative term for it, but those are probably going to support VR. Like every single one of them that is going to go out is going to support VR. So like and like a lot of other type of games are going to support VR. I think in like especially on like the indie segment and like on Steam and stuff.
I would agree with you, Brack. I think on the PC, VR is always going to have a home, but like you say, if it doesn't get a massive foothold in the mainstream, and I truly believe that it isn't going to get a massive foothold in the mainstream, at least not after the buzz has died down. You watch, I think 2-3 years down the line, people aren't going to be talking about PlayStation VR. They're going to be talking about Uncharted 5 with their controller and their fucking TV screen. That's what I think. But we'll see.
Well, hopefully we're going to meet here in about 4 to 5 years and see where we're at.
I hope VR is going to be big because I really like the idea of VR.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
also, not only the games. I don't know if you want to move on to what experience we are looking forward to swiftly.
No, well, we will save that for a little bit later. We'll save that. So I think that's such a fun question. We'll save that for the last one to be positive about VR and see the excitement of VR. So we'll hold off on that for a little bit. But we will move on to the next question. So basically, simple one. If you could go back into the past, right, and have like a remake of a game that you could play in VR, what game would you choose? If the game was actually kind of like remastered for VR and was in full 3D and stuff like that, like what game would you really want to play with the headset on and properly get into? So, tough question. How about you, Brack?
So like the first thing I thought of was Skyrim, but Skyrim already you can actually play it in VR even in Oculus Rift. And then the second thing was what's like the most intense, over the top, stupid action game, first person action game I would like to play in VR. And the thing I came out on was Bulletstorm. I don't know if you guys remember Bulletstorm.
Wow. Yeah, Bulletstorm.
Still lying. You still haven't played it. God damn it.
That's a fucking majorly underrated game. That's great.
Yes, I really enjoyed that game. I was thinking, what's the most intense, up-close first-person shooter I can think of? Like, high-octane first-person shooter. And Bulletstorm was the perfect pick because you have all the crazy weapons, of course, and you have like the insane amount of like gore and violence. But you also have the possibility of like having like one cyber whip. You can see people in the distance and whip them all the way towards you, and then you can either shoot them in the face with a shotgun, or you can actually kick them away again and like kick them in like spikes or stuff like that. And I think it would be just really interesting to see how that would work in VR, especially like seeing a guy in the distance and like bring him towards you, and like it's right in front of your face all of a sudden. It would be like a really weird experience that I think probably won't work, but I would love to try it out.
Especially if you had like haptic gloves and boots and stuff, and you can actually kick the guy. You actually need to do the motion of kicking someone. That'd be amazing. It was so good. Yeah, Bulletstorm Human Metal was such a great game. I mean, just that bolo weapon you have, that you bolo people and then detonate the bolos, is just so funny. So good. I guess for a change, I'll go next. And my one is complete fantasy because Nintendo aren't going, aren't really entering the VR market, so that kind of sucks. But like, if I could do any game in full VR, I would probably go Metroid Prime, because can you imagine exploring Metroid Prime in VR? Oh, that'd be so fucking incredible. It would be absolutely amazing because just the world building of Metroid Prime is just amazing, And that's kind of like one of the pleasures of like 3D movies, I think, you know, 3D movies, standard 3D movies like dramas and stuff, like I don't really give a fuck about, but like 3D movies and stuff that can give you an experience that you can't really visit in real life, like that give you other worlds to explore. Like, for example, Prometheus, for example. I know you guys don't like Prometheus much, but like visually Prometheus was stunning, right? At least we can all agree on that. And when you see it in 3D, like you get to visit like alien worlds that you can, and alien spaceships and stuff that you can't see in real life. You can't just, you know, go to somewhere that looks like Prometheus. It's impossible. And the fact is that you know, Metroid Prime had such an fantastic, diverse alien like worldscape that it would just be so amazing to just jump through that place in VR, you know, like jump from branch to branch in the
puke on your real shoes.
Yeah, puke. Yeah, exactly. But it would be amazing. It'd be worth puking if you could fight that fucking snow boss in VR. Like, it'd be so incredible. So how about you, VR? VR?
VR Metal.
Human. VR Metal, yes. How about you, VR Metal? What would you... VR Troopers, that's such a shit show. So how about you, Human Metal? What game would you like to see in the VR if you could go back into the past and revamp any game?
Not that far into the past, actually. Alien Isolation, man. I will hold out on the game until there is a proper VR version of it, and then I'm gonna play it, because I've been waiting for that. Because VR got big once, you know, at the same time that game was starting to develop and came out. It was like, hey, there's a game I would like to play in VR. So there you go. That's.
I think
I want to be scared and crap my pants. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you better like have like a bucket in front of you in case you puke, and like wear like some special type of pants.
Yeah,
because
I'm gonna do that.
You're gonna shit your pants.
I'm gonna wear a rubber onesie.
They have a name for those. They're called condoms. Well, to that point, I love Alien Isolation. It is amazing. It's the best game ever based on the Alien franchise, and I absolutely adore the Alien movies, at least the first two, of course, not the other ones. They don't exist to me. They're dead. But like, so I love Alien Isolation, the game. I love Alien and Aliens. Like, oh my god, like to me, that's my Star Wars. You know, that's my like my geeky fanboy thing. I have my desire to play Alien Isolation in VR is absolute zero. I would not play that if you paid me to in VR.
Because you're a little scaredy cat.
Well, there's a reason I'm a scaredy cat. That game terrified me just playing it on my TV. I mean, my brother is just like me. He's a massive Alien fan, like the second biggest Alien fan to me, basically. Like, he loves Alien. He could not push through and finish that game. Not because it was difficult, because he was fucking terrified of that game. I mean, he just couldn't do it. It was too scary for him. And I totally understand that.
Scare me, terrify me.
I couldn't do it in VR, I'm telling you. Like, that game at points, especially during the first 10, 15 hours, was the game I could only play for about 30 minutes or 40 minutes before my hands literally started to shake. I love Alien, but I have no desire to actually literally shit my pants. So I will pass on that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so we're going to come on to the last question, I guess. So, what experiences do you want from VR in the future? What games would you really look forward to? What do you want to do in VR, in the VR world? Like, what's your dream VR experience? So how about that? So, Human Metal, I think you're chomping at the bit for this one. So why don't you go?
But we all are.
We all
are. We are troopers.
My eyes aren't.
Well, anyway, let's talk about the big elephant in the room, porn. But Breck already mentioned it. That's a thing, and it's stupid to deny that. We all jerk off to porn. It's the truth. It's how it is. At least, yeah, male, female alike. Maybe not as many women as men. I don't know. Probably not, because there's more setup involved.
I know you jerk don't off need it. Inside women.
Yeah, and then you whine to us about that you can't handle four at the same time.
Literal goddamn true story.
Yeah, there you go. Porn has always driven what platform is going to be popular. So porn is going to decide who wins the VR race, probably. So we'll see about that. Didn't you mention earlier news on Twitter that Pornhub has already started their VR channel or something?
Yeah, that was actually a thing called Gizmodo. That Pornhub, they just like started their own VR channel on their website. They have already have 20 VR videos on there.
There you go. It's already started. So, but
it's happening, guys. It's already.
It's happening. It's happening. It's happening in everyone's pants soon enough. Anyway, aside from porn, which is the obvious thing. Like I mentioned earlier, that the Vive, which I don't have enough space in my apartment for, there's not enough free room there. I would stumble over things constantly. But maybe we will get see a resurgence of arcades. Like you have several empty rooms in a big building, and HTC Vive in each one of them, and then you could freely run around in those rooms and have a big old VR experience. If you can rent it for like an hour and pay a fixed price and something like that. So not porn experience, Choo. The way you just look, I'm not talking about that.
No,
who would clean those rooms? Who would clean those rooms?
Do you know what just suddenly entered my mind? Not porn, as far away from porn as you can possibly get. Literally as far away from porn as you can possibly get. Nightmare, the old TV show.
Yeah, sure, something like that. Yeah. There you go.
Oh,
yes, stuff like that. Just, there are already things like that where people are wearing their headsets and they have a backpack with a laptop that it's basically fueling the headset, and then they have laser tag, but with a real first-person shooter experience. But you're running around and you're wearing the headset and you're playing laser tag, but you have a first-person landscape inside your headset. So stuff like that. I want to see that, resurface of arcade, just making use of VR headsets. That could be totally cool. Or simple things in those, like manipulating virtual space, like drawing things, and we have already seen stuff like that in the demos for the HTC Vive. Drawing things, building virtual objects, like cool stuff like that. Just, you rent your virtual your VR room for like a Sunday afternoon with a few friends, and then you do whatever in VR space. That could be cool. So, and stuff like that. And at home, I would want obviously the typical the total immersive experience thing. Explore deep space, the oceans, fly with eagles, swim with dolphins, shit like that. That you can't do in real life because you can't afford it.
Or because you can't fly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Hang on, Brack. You smoke lots of pot. You must have been flying before. But I tell you what, I have actually swam with dolphins, literally in the sea. It's terrifying. I'm telling you that. It's just as terrifying as Alien Isolation. I jumped into the sea with my snorkel and my fucking my goggles on once, and there was a dolphin about 1 foot from my face. It was terrifying. I thought that fucker was going to eat me.
You're a weird person. Anyway, but yeah, maybe then not swim with dolphins. But another example, virtual vacation experience. Go somewhere where you probably will never go in real life because it's too warm, too expensive, too scary. But
for you, it'd be a woman's pussy.
Yeah, maybe. But for example, my dad is into architecture and art and shit like that, and I would love for him to be able to walk, through certain buildings and museums in far-off countries.
Wow, that'd be amazing, game, Brack. Walking through a woman's pussy, that'd be amazing.
Oh. That would be the worst.
You could have STD simulator. You could have giant germs.
That's your life.
Pussy and shooting them down with a shotgun or something.
Maybe that will happen too. But simple things like
you already live an STD simulator. Let's be honest.
Can I make my point? And then you guys can do whatever you want to do. Okay.
You can make your point.
But experience architecture and buildings and museums in countries where you will never go. But if you want to do that and feel like you're there, that would be cool too. And last thing, I like the idea of the virtual desktop and virtual big screen, like sitting alone in a giant open air movie theater to watch your movies and play your games. That would be incredibly awesome. And that's something they already said you can do with the VR headsets, to just put that thing on, and then it's like you're sitting in the open air and have like this giant screen in front of you. That could be awesome. That could be awesome to experience movies and games. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Me too.
I like visiting many different countries.
Clever.
Not
That
really.
Oh my god. See, I hope you go blind now by VR. Just to make that joke.
Now you deserve it.
Yes. But I agree. I really like the idea of like the huge theater.
Yeah.
Like when you're like, oh, it's like you're sitting alone in like an insanely big like IMAX theater while you're just watching like your cat videos on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like that.
Or your porn.
Of course.
That is amazing. Absolutely, Brack. Just to touch on that point, like to watch any movie that you have in your DVD collection on a huge ass cinema screen, or to get to actually simulate the fact that you're in a giant ass cinema, right? But not only that, to play. I heard that the PlayStation VR is actually going to support old games, any games, basically any game, PlayStation, and you can play it on what looks like a fucking giant ass cinema screen in your house.
Cinematic. That also, that's also
cool as fuck.
Yeah, and you don't have to basically, if you live alone and someone else wants a bigger TV, but you don't have to buy a new TV anytime soon if you have the PSVR headset because I want a bigger TV. You can have a TV that is too big for your fucking eyes in the VR headset. So there's that. That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I mean, who the fuck doesn't want to play Axiom Verge or Shovel Knight on a fucking TV that's like, as big as your house? I mean, fuck it. I want to play that.
Yeah, me too. Any game on a giant ass TV.
Yeah, fucking see aliens at the cinema. And I don't even need to step outside my house to do it. So that's awesome. But Brack, how about games? What experiences are you looking forward to most in the world of actually, gaming?
The type of games I would like to see the most are obviously like the games that already are immersive. And that's like games like Skyrim or Fallout or just every like huge open world first person game. Like those would be perfect for VR. Like you actually feel like you're in that world. Like imagine just playing GTA 5, like the first person mode of GTA 5 with VR. That would be just insane, right?
Yeah, that probably. Yeah, I'm probably actually gonna get if GTA 5 is gonna support that. I'm probably gonna get that just for that mode to experience that. I don't care about GTA itself, but I would like to traverse the city in VR to just in first person mode because I think that would be pretty interesting and impressive.
Well, yes, on a level of tourism, I agree with you, Human Metal. That would be great, but I think like where it comes specifically to GTA, I mean, I know I talk a good game about not caring about stuff, but actually, GTA, like when it changed to first person, I think it fundamentally changed the game. When you are shooting people in third person in GTA, it's nothing. When you're shooting them in first person, it's a little bit more real. It does feel a little bit more vicious, a little bit more malevolent. There's a point there where it becomes too real, when you're right there and you're in 3D and you got a shotgun and you just gun down an innocent woman in cold blood for no particular reason other than it amuses you. At what point does that become too real? Like Daniel Kaiser said on an episode of Epic Battle Axe, at what point do video games get too violent, where you're hacking off people's limbs and stuff, and like at what point do you stop and say, you know what, this is psychologically damaging to me as a person, this is wrong. Shit, we should tackle that in a different episode. I'm too drunk to talk about such serious weighty notions now.
We're noticing.
Crazy.
So what kind of game would you like to see, Choo Choo, out of VR?
Well, simply, I want to do something I can't do in real life. Whilst you could say, yes, you can't grab a shotgun and go and gun people down in the streets of LA. I mean, technically, you can do it, though. if one were so inclined, one could take a shotgun and go and massacre people on the streets of LA. However, what I could never do is experience exploring the universe, simply exploring deep space, setting down on distant planets. I'd love to experience that. I'd love to jet off in a starfighter or whatever, go dogfight in space and go set down on distant planets and explore So I'm down for the science fiction games, like the real deep science fiction games that I can experience in 3D in a relatively realistic fashion, what I could never experience in my life. So I want the No Man's Sky, I want the Elite Dangerous. Plus, you can sit down when you play those games, right? Because you're in the cockpit of a ship, so it doesn't break immersion. I mean, if you're in a like a walking simulator. You know, if you're doing that type of thing, there's always a part of you that knows that your legs aren't moving. Yeah. So, but if you're in a spaceship, you know, I guess you could really, really get into that on a kind of like a deeper level because you've got your controller in your hand, but those are the controls for the spaceship, right? So I could totally see myself getting into that. And, you know, who doesn't want to jet off to like, you know, Io or something and fucking set down on a planet that is basically a revolving fucking volcano. It's so exciting, and yeah, something we can never ever experience in our lives. And that's kind of what video games are about, doing things that we can't do. That's what most excites me. See, Choo had the most sensible answer out of everybody. Surprise, motherfucker.
That's debatable.
Possibly. I did have this running joke where I was going to be very polite this episode. I had this like idea that I was going to have a very polite intro and a very polite outro, and like I was going to be just like nice to everybody and make no offensive jokes or anything, but apparently I can't do it.
No,
fuck you guys.
You're an asshole. That's why.
Fuck you, fucking vagina mouth. Fuck you.
How's Bragg a vagina mouth? He isn't even sweet talking you.
If he was, I'd be all over that shit. Well, Brack's got a beard and a big mouth, so he looks like a slack fanny. But hey, and with that, we've come to the end of this week's visit to the ocean floor. Please join us next time. You find that everything is bravo spiffing. I've already said I fucked up this running joke, so fuck you all.